I wanted to do an update on how the fabric top guitar is going and some issues I found with some of the parts that I bought. The fabric top, for some reason, clear coat did not seem to want to soak into that fiber and stay in it. When I'd sand it down a little bit, it seemed like it would come off. And for the world, I mean, it's just in certain spots, and I don't know why, because when I did this guitar here, it was like the same brand material, came from Walmart and everything. I didn't wash it, I didn't iron any of the wrinkles out or anything. I just bought it from the store and glued it down there and never had a problem with it, using the same clear coats and the same everything pretty much. So I don't know if maybe putting it in the dryer or maybe in the ink there was something that caused some issues with it. So I did an experiment that probably in time it's going to bite me in the butt. I sanded it down as much as I could without getting into the material and messing it up, and then I put some shellac on it. I got a can of spray shellac. It says that you could put any clear coat or anything over it and be fine. So I put that on there and then went back, took a coat or two of clear coat and laid on top of that. I'm letting that cure up really well. I'm going to probably let it cure for about at least a couple of weeks before I try to do anything with it. Probably even better, a month. Like I said before, the humidity down here is so high it seemed like it takes forever for painting stuff to cure right. You know, there's a difference between drying and curing. There's drying where you can handle it, and then there's curing where it'll get to its hardest and it should resist scratches better and everything else. While it's still drying, sometimes down here it's humid as it is, it can still stick and leave imprints in things for a while. So I'm going to let this thing dry really well, then level sand it as best I can. I'm not going to get it perfect, and then I'll put it together. Before I go through all that, I will lay everything out and drill the holes. I plan on putting a different neck on it, so for now I'm just going to use the neck that I have on it till I get up to Michigan this summer, and then I'll build a neck for it. I think it's going to look better with a darker wood. Like I think I'll use a walnut fretboard and maybe a maple neck. I got the maple and the walnut up there already to do it with, so that, or maybe I have some black cherry I might use on it. But give me your opinion. Let me know what you think would look pretty decent on it. I think the darker color will go better than this neck that I have on it now, which is a lot lighter color. It looks kind of odd to me. It's a maple fretboard, and it's just, to me, it's too light of a color. Now with the parts, one thing I did notice, the washers for the tuners, I found a couple of them that were not quite right. As you can see here, the one on the right is way smaller than the one on the left. It looks like it was ground down way too far. So I will be contacting Guitar Fetish about that. Now as you can see, I got them on the headstock already, and you can see this one here on the high E string, that's the one that was really small, and I didn't notice it till I was looking at this picture, but the one on the D string here, where the D string will go, is a little smaller than the others too. So that's two of them I'll be contacting Guitar Fetish about. Now for me, this was not that big an issue. I have extra parts laying around. I probably have a couple of these washers laying around. But for somebody that did not have spare parts like me and was not into building guitars, just upgrading, this would be an issue. So something to keep in mind there. And also, if you, these nuts that go down in here, there was a couple or three of them, I'd say about 3 of them, that were really tight to thread in. I threaded them in first before I installed them just to check the threads. I'm kind of anal about stuff like that. And there was 3 of them that seemed like they had some burrs on the threads. So I felt there was a possibility of those stripping the threads or something. So I put them in, grabbed them with my fingers really tight. I actually used my shirt to give me a better grip. The tail of my shirt just grabbed it like this and turned it. And got them to go in by hand and then back out, and then after that they were fine. So be aware of that if you get some of these. Don't try to force those threads and strip them out, because if you do, then you're screwed. And I doubt if they would give you any refund or replacement if you did something like that, because they would claim it was your fault for forcing it. On the neck pickup, I noticed the screws that came with it, as you can see here. This is a screw these are the 2 screws that came with it, or the 2 screws were identical to this one here. You can see the hole. They're supposed to thread in there, but these screws are way too small, so they'd never hold. You'd have to put a clip or something on the end of here, or something like that, to get them to hold up to the bottom of the pickup to hold it in. I suspect it's the wrong screws. Has to be. There's no other explanation there. What it should have is a screw here like on the right. These are the 2 that came with the pickups. This is what threaded in the hole for me. Like I said, I have extra parts. I had 2 of these screws laying around, and so I put them in there. The heads are a little bit large, but they hold the pickup in. So something else I will be contacting Guitar Fetish about, you know, at least make them aware of this so somebody else doesn't have the same problem I do. Because like before, if you're not like me and have extra parts laying around, this could be a real issue. The next problem I ran into was not a fault of the part, it was a fault of the template that I used. This template was made from a Glarry guitar that I bought for parts. So the routing out for the neck or bridge pickup was a little bit small, I do believe. I don't think they brought that up to the specs that you would find on the Fender or something. Because this pickup fit in there so tight, I could not get it straight with the pick guard. That's as straight as I could get it. It's what you see in this photo here. I just wanted to lay everything out, see how it was going to match, what it would look like. Here's the back of the pickup. Everything, the bridge, pickup, everything, all that worked fine. But you can see like this little mark here is where I put it in there. I kind of twisted it and made an indentation so I could tell where it was binding it, where I could not get it straight. So like I said, this is not a problem, I don't think, with this pickup. On the other hand, if you do have a Glarry or another imported cheap guitar, this could be an issue for you. Because this template, like I said, I made this template from a Glarry guitar. It should be the exact dimensions and everything. What I ended up doing is taking my router and just shaving an edge off around here a little bit and around here a little bit. Probably less than a 16th or 32nd total on both sides, and then I could get it in there and fit in there real straight. I know it wasn't even an 1/8 inch that I took out. Maybe total, but I don't think so. It was very little, really. But that gave me enough room where I could get it in there and have enough room to move that around and get it straightened out. So just something to be aware of. In this photo, you can see the larger screw heads here. I may paint those black too, so they're not sticking out there like that. Or I guess it's really no big issue. Or maybe find some screws with smaller heads that'll look better in there. So anyway, that's what I found. Everything else seemed to be good, except for the only issue that I have now, The hole that goes between the bridge pickup and the control cavity, at the angle I had to go in, the hole kind of goes from higher up in here down, and it bottoms out here where the wire would come out. So I'm gonna either have to modify that hole to get it bigger to put the wiring through, because with this the quick plug system, the wire is a little bit large, so it can't make that sharp bend to get up in that hole. It does go in the hole. The neck one has no problem. I can feed it through, no problem. But the bridge one, where it comes into the cavity, it's right down at the bottom. So I'm going to have to either modify that hole where I can get that up in there, or just unsolder it, feed it through, and solder it back in. I think that's going to be my best option, really. I mean, otherwise I risk running a drill bit into this thing and damaging my top somehow or something like that. So I'd rather not do that. So that's pretty much it. As far as the other parts, everything seemed fine. No issues. I don't think we'll have any issues with the electronics working, any like that. I just want to give a quick update and let you know about those. So if you buy these parts from Guitar Fetish, be aware you might run into these problems. And I will update, and after I contact Guitar Fetish, I'll send them these pictures of the washers and the screws on the pickups, and see what they say. I had no problems with the screws for the bridge pickup and the bridge. Everything matched together there fine. Put it all together, looks good. As far as I can tell, works good. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Catch you later. Bye, y'all.